I'm Bruce Tuff, principal of the Tuff Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm serving the greater Woodlands area and the greater Houston area. Contact us at 281-681-0808. We're tough for you.
And now, here's the veteran voice of the legal fix, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Lone Star State in Montgomery County, Texas, for a brand new episode of the Legal Fix, a new age radio show presented by the Tuff Law Firm, the toughest law firm in town, with the toughest lawyers around, answering your toughest legal questions. Introducing first, hosting out of the red corner, the big deal, Bruce Colson. Tough, joined by Boy Wonder, Brandon Scott Riley, and super lawyer, G.I. Jerome, the Golden Boy, Jeremy Lee Hall.
Hey, Brandon Riley here with nobody. Literally nobody. The big deal, not a big deal. He's gallivanting around with his wife doing whatever. Ice cream, vanilla ice baby, Jeremy Hall, nowhere to be found. It's 12:07. This show starts at 12. When I'm not here on time because I'm working, they start without me, so we're starting without them. Welcome to the Legal Fix, a new age radio show brought to you by the Tuff Law Firm. Please call our hotline at 936-900-2381. Again, that's 936-900-2381. Today, Jeremy has made a very special show for us. He's going to tell you how to look people up. He's going to tell you how to learn things about people and what they own that you otherwise didn't know. This might be dangerous to just give out to the public, but I think it's going to be an excellent time for us to learn about how to look up what people own on the internet, which is terrifying to think, but realistically it's been going on since the dawn of this nation. We've had property record system that's a public record system with a grantor-grantee index, and from that spawned tax rolls so that we could have property taxes, and appraisal districts so that we could determine the value of those properties. As a matter of fact, we've had a lot of hoopla about the increasing of the property tax, and of course the Woodlands Township has actually reduced their percentage of the expenses as it relates to, I think it's 16, they've moved it down now, it's not official yet, but they've moved it down to 16 cents per $100 of value tax for the Woodlands in the Montgomery County area. And so the big deal that has occurred is that the Comptroller's office and other governmental entities in Texas have gone in and looked at the actual purchase prices of homes in every county, and in counties like Montgomery County where they've kept the tax property values low, the central authority in Texas has boosted those values to very comparable to the actual sale value, and what that has done is jacked up people's cost exponentially. And so a lot of credit to the township. They've actually stepped up and lowered, and it's not official yet, but they've lowered the tax rate, and they've also locked in elderly families who have homes in the area. They've locked in their tax rate so that it will never increase even if their property value increases, so long as they live there. And the Golden Boy has arrived, fresh. I love the glasses, my guy.
Been here the whole chimey.
I couldn't find you. I was looking for you in the, we have our
Your glasses are too darky.
They're too dark?
Well, maybe it's Bruce's seat, because it seems like he has trouble seeing from that position as well. Big deal. We miss you. Come home safely.
Need some lights.
Soon.
Quick gallivanting.
Where is he again? Wales?
Actually, I think he is...
Denmark.
No, he's bird hunting now.
Okay. He's in Ireland, though,
yeah,
right?
I have no idea where he's at.
Yeah.
No
okay.
idea.
One of those countries over
It's
there.
probably on the calendar, but I didn't look.
I think he's in Great Britain.
Very good. Very good.
The United Emirates. Okay. Back to property tax.
Yeah,
so
Jeremy, jump in. I was just discussing kind
teaching
of
people how to find people on the internet. Or were you
Yeah.
taking the
Well, I
more
said
serious
you've-
route with
No,
property?
no. I told him you've got a show for him. You've set up how to find people on the internet and what they own.
We gon' find you. We gon' find you. So it's not on Facebook. It's not Googling, but it's property tax records.
It's not been verified or people search or anything like that.
No, it's
either.
legitimate government databases.
Public record.
Public records. We're going to look at 3 databases. We're going to look at the Montgomery. Well, it's MCAD. What does that stand for, BW?
Montgomery County Appraisal District. I have no idea then.
Central.
Central Appraisal District.
I think there's another
Close
letter
enough.
that has an... Okay, so Montgomery, and how is Bruce involved with this
He's
Montgomery
actually
Central?
the president, if I'm not mistaken. It's the president of the board. So it's a elected position.
Chairman, I believe.
Chairman of the board. Thank you. And it's he's
So he doesn't work
elected-
there. It's not a 9 to 5.
No, he's a volunteer.
He doesn't have an office.
He doesn't get paid.
High-level
He is
decisions.
Elected by the board.
He doesn't decide how much our homes are worth.
No, and I was just discussing the reality that I believe it's the comptroller's office that did this, and I'm not sure, but it was the
At
Texas
state
government
level.
At the state level.
Okay.
Came in and took all the information related to property sales and said, niche, don't think so. You have kept your property tax prices artificially low. We're jacking them up.
Raise them up.
And they immediately went up 15-20%. Oh, is there a caller?
Hello, caller. Welcome to the Legal Fix. What's your question?
What's your question?
Hi. So I have a boyfriend, and
Congratulations.
Can you hear me?
What's your name, caller?
I'm sorry. My name is Megan.
Really?
Hi, Megan.
Is there anyone else next to you, around you, named Megan?
No.
What's your
Okay.
question?
Go ahead, Megan.
So
Sounds like
I have
Angela.
a boyfriend, and
Sounds
he
like Angela.
is telling me that he owns all of this land, and I don't know how to find out if he actually owns all this land. So I'm trying. How would I go about finding out?
Keep listening to the show. That's what Jeremy's about to dive into. You called just a few minutes too early. You'll hear the answer to that. In
Yeah,
just a
the
moment.
shortcut way to get there, what I do when I'm on a new place where I don't have it bookmarked, like a new phone maybe, is Google Montgomery County, Texas, because there's one in Maryland and Pennsylvania.
and
Montgomery
Ohio.
County, Texas, real property records. You're going to find 3 things. The Montgomery County Clerk's office, if you want to find deeds and the stuff that Boy Wonder and the eraser and the badge like to look at, like old scroll documents that say ownership. You're going to find, just kidding, guys. You're going to find the Montgomery Central Appraisal District where you'll be able to see instant ownership data, who owns it, what's the taxable value of it, and then there's a GIS mapping system, which I find very helpful. You'll be able to export records, things like that. Then you'll find Tammy McRae, the Montgomery County Tax Assessor-Collector, where you can see how much is the tax liability for this year and for past years and who's made the payments. So Montgomery County Real Property Records, the Tax Assessor-Collector, the Clerk, and the Central Appraisal District. Those are the 3 sites to find owners.
And you want to start. Oh, she hung up. But you want to start
Dang.
with like the tax rolls, because the tax rolls will let you look by property address, like the address you would put in your Google, or by the name. The real property records, it is impossible to find people by their name.
Yeah,
Because the odds are there are 100 other Brandon Rileys.
Will you start with 15? Are you talking about the county clerk?
Yeah, I mean, you would start with the tax rolls or MCAD, either one. to
MCAD
find-
is where I start because it
Yeah.
has a nice Boolean search. You go to MCAD to the homepage. And Carlos, we can pull this up if you have it there. We have all the links. We're kind of going out of order here, but actually we're going in perfect order. MCAD comes first.
Yeah.
Then I look at Tammy McRae and the tax payment history. And click on property search right there, Carlos. And this, so thank you. This is the Montgomery Central Appraisal District. That's a common misnomer. Everybody thinks it's Montgomery County. Everything else MC that we're talking about,
Yeah.
MC Clerk, Montgomery County, MC TAC.
You got me with that one. I was not
Montgomery
expecting
Central
it.
Appraisal District, and property search. So let's plug in 819 Crossbridge Drive. Crossbridge. That is the address of the Tough Law Firm.
We are tough for you.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Hey, while he's finding that,
someone keylogged Carlos. The
while
FBI's got him.
While he's finding that, look up this building address for me. Unless you have a choice, look up this building address or pick a favorite elected official.
Deal or
You like
no
to
deal?
talk about Steve Toth. You like to talk
No,
about
we're
Gordy
not going
Bunch.
to dox Steve Toth on our radio show.
You don't have to dox. We could look up his business personal property values. I could look up mine right
Just do
now,
a
but my
business
wife
address.
is forbidden it.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're
Do the
getting that
business
online,
address.
you go to the Central Appraisal District site. You go to a property search. You plug in 819 Crossbridge Drive, and actually you don't even have to go that far. You can find it on autocomplete. So on property search, Carlos, if you'll put your cursor back in that bar and just type the letter capital B, followed by the letter I, LES. Okay, and then we have the Biles World Champion Center there. That's the gymnastics center down the street from us. And then we also have, if we'll go back, actually, you can just stay there, Carlos. So we'll have the Biles Family Trust, which is the name that Simone has her property in. So you can see where her property is. She has two lots next to each other. I'm not suggesting this to, as you said, dox people.
Right.
But the point is, if you want to see who lives next door to me, or I'm thinking of buying a home, who are the people around me? That's what I did before I bought our home. Who are these people? Then you can go to Facebook and whatever else. They may be renters. You may not get a hit on all of them, but you'll be able to see who owns the property around you.
Most of the time. Sophisticated buyers who don't want to be found have two options. They can do a straw purchase through a straw buyer, or they can create an LLC in a state like Delaware that doesn't have to reveal who the members of that LLC are, and then purchase the property through that LLC. And so it could be BY Roman numeral 2 LLC, and there will be no information about that company beyond the registered agent available to us without a lawsuit against that company that would reveal further information. And so there are ways that people hide. So don't think that you're going to be able to just turn around and find Adrian Peterson's info. Unless it's already out there, you're not going to find it in the property records.
Agreed, and that's a good point. And we're not advocating this, and that brings us back to for nefarious purposes. We're advocating for legitimate purposes, like who are my neighbors, and if you see it's an LLC, you know it's an investment owner, and that tells you as much as you need to know, or at least something about the property. Carlos, if we can go back there to that property record that we were just on. A couple more things before we leave the Central Appraisal District site. I'm going to stay at the top of the page for me, please. We've got the property ID at the top. So total assessed value, you can see that land that the World Champion Center is on is worth $350K. The property ID P00259, you can use that other places to look up the property, so you may want to make note of that. And then if you'll scroll down, Carlos, this is a favorite trick of mine. I'll go down, that's the owner information, keep going, and then we have the segments. We have the value history, keep going, and then scroll back up to the middle part, the segments there. Now there will be a drop down arrow where you can drop down in the middle section with the stripes, everything on the property. So folks at home, if you click that drop down arrow, you can see all of the floors of the property, all of the square footage. I use this to do an as-build of my house to figure out how many square feet the upstairs, downstairs, porch, everything was. They'll even tell you what the value of each section was. If you have a porch add-on, you'll be able to go see it here, see if they got the square footage right, and they will because they have mapping software, and see what they valued that new addition at if you want to argue your tax value. Now, Carlos, we can go to the top.
Let me ask you a question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Beyond the FBI search that Megan wants to do on her new boyfriend, what is the value of knowing how to do this? How can you apply this to your life in the purchase of a home or otherwise?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. I have three primary ways that I use this. Number one, I looked up my neighbors to see who they were. One of them was a renter, so it was a misnomer. I was able to use that to find them on Facebook. Number two was property value. The realtor was showing me comps, which are good to have, sales data from
comparable homes sold in the recent months beside your house, right?
Right, and
Comps.
so they'll have 2 or 3 comps from HAR, and they'll have their realtor login, so you can log in and see what homes sold for, and that's proprietary data, right?
Right.
Well, I have the government database with every single piece of property in the area that I can use to create a sheet. Now I have 100 values that I can use to average out square footage, everything I need to negotiate purchase price, and that's exactly what I use to negotiate the purchase price. Also, you have maps. So if you click at the top there, there's a GIS mapping software. So I use that to create a map of my own neighborhood for directions for neighbors, our own offices for directions for the office. You're able to get a bird's eye view with government data of everything that's in the area. Finally, I used it on the HOA board, so I pulled a list of everything tagged Legends Trace HOA and got an Excel spreadsheet export of all the property owners. And I searched not only for LLC owners, but also for mismatched addresses. The record notice address, if it's in Colorado, but the property address is in Spring, obviously, it's somebody in a second home.
Well, just for the listeners, GIS and BIS are a mapping system very much like your Google or Apple Maps, except that they divide each property by its physical division and its ownership interest. And so it's a digital overlay of what amounts to the actual property records that we haven't even begun discussing at this point. So,
and this is what I pinged Bruce on. What if Mark Keogh takes a map of somebody sunbathing nude in their backyard, and do they have to blur it out and all that stuff? Because it's highly accurate. It's the data, and it's different from Google. So anybody who's nerded out and snipped Google images of overhead views of your house or street views or whatever it is, here's another database, a government database with highly accurate overhead aerial images of every piece of property in the county. And you can get who owns it, parcel information popped up on the screen to print or screenshot or whatever you're trying to do.
Now,
with
I'll
your
say
data.
this. These are private companies, the GIS, BIS websites. These are private contractors that have contracted with Montgomery County or other counties within the state. Not every county, like, for example, Yoakum County, you can't access any of their stuff online. I mean, it's
Is that a real
archaic.
county?
Absolutely. Yoakum County, Texas. Definitely a real county. I've had to do some property stuff in there. You can't get a hold of anything, and so you have to send a letter to them or show up in person and go dig through their records in the county
Black
court.
and white photocopy a map.
Quite literally, or the film where you spin it. You know,
Yeah.
they have the original digital was the overhead projector, but where you could spin the reel of the films to run through them all.
Yeah, they went to the Eraser School of Record Keeping. Ding, got her. Sorry, Paolo. Black and white
I'm going
copies.
to bring some ice for her. That was a burn. Very good, yeah.
As
So,
you can tell, I like to
continue
nerd out
forward.
on all of this data and stuff, exporting, looking up maps, things like that. So I just wanted to share that with our listeners today. The
it's good
first
stuff.
website to go to is Montgomery Central Appraisal District. That's some of the information you can find there. When we come back, we'll show you the TAC, Tax Assessor Collector records for tax payment information. B-Dub will take
By
you
the
through
way,
County Clerk.
Thank you, Tammy McRae, for coming to the 4th of July parade.
Yes.
And thank
Oh,
you,
my
Nelda
goodness.
Blair,
She's
for
one of our
driving her in
favorites.
that amazing Mercedes. That was a cool car. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they do it up every year. Thank you, ladies.
So, when we return, we'll discuss more.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Bruce Tuff, principal of the Tuff Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm serving the greater Woodlands area and the greater Houston area. Contact us at 281-681-0808. We're tough for you.
Go to youtube.com on your smartphone, tablet, or PC. Subscribe us on YouTube at Radio The Boss 91.1 FM.
Hey there, Texas. Jensen Ackles here. There's a lot of scary stuff out there. But you know what's really scary? Distracted drivers. With their heads down, they're texting, they're swerving, blowing through stop signs and red lights. Not cool, yo. And not safe. And one other thing, it's not legal either. That's right. There's a new statewide Texas law that says you can't read, write, or send a text while driving. So heads up, Texas. Keep your eyes on the road.
Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Thank you, Bruce. Oh no, there was no Bruce. My bad. Welcome back to the Legal
Why
Fix.
hasn't he come back yet?
I'm the golden boy, Jeremy Hall, here with B-Dub. We are the boys. He's in that other country. We're trying to figure out what it is. If you have a question, call our hotline, 936-900-2381. Hey, I think Angela kind of sounded like Megan, and I bet Megan was spelled with 2 G's. Just a guess. Hey, today we're showing you how to find anyone here on the Legal
I think
Fix.
she said her name was Megan.
Megan. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Like me and Fox. Not for nefarious purposes, but to do things like negotiate the price of your next home. Also, you can find out, has someone paid their property taxes? How much have they paid? When did they pay? Who has paid? All of this on Tammy McRae's beautiful website, Montgomery County
It's a good
Tax
picture of her,
Office.
too. And I love the blue bonnets.
Yes, beautiful. Okay.
And another thing, you can also, another non-nefarious way you can use this to your benefit, you can use this for your tax protest as well. I mean, a lot of people have to protest their taxes at this point because they're going to go up so much higher than they're used to that they aren't prepared budget-wise to pay for it. We're already in an inflationary economy. We already have these things going against us, and adding to your tax burden is not something anyone wants to do, especially on a fixed income for the elderly and people of that nature. So it's another way that you can prepare yourself, and obviously there are a lot of companies out there as well that will help you with this, but another way you can prepare yourself to fight and protest your tax burden as it relates to real estate taxes.
As a person and as a
an
business.
individual. Yes.
Because
Well,
one of our clients had a piece of property that went from 900K up to, do you remember what it was? The
it was
1 year
several
jump?
million. It was several million, was it not?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
a,
it was an increase of like a couple 100%.
Percent up.
Yeah, it's over. I think it's 1.6.
it was
So it's like
unreasonable.
doubled. It increased almost $1 million in 1 year.
1 year. 1 year.
And that set the whole case on fire because everyone's trying to explain this. Now we got a hot potato, a piece of property that jumped in value. So these are important. You can also use that, like BW said, to argue your tax value. When I looked at property values in my area, I found they had all jumped more than my own home had jumped. I was out of luck using that to support a reduction.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Miss McRae. Who do you want to look up, BW? We can go address or we can go human being. Let's not do
Ooh, that's tough.
Bruce Tough.
Yeah, don't do Bruce. Yikes. I'm gonna pass on this. I'm not gonna give a.
Let's go 819
How about-
Crossbridge.
yeah,
let's
let's
go
do an
89 because
address,
we're
yeah.
going to see two things, Carlos. We can go back to Tammy. I'll take over. We got 819 Crossbridge. So we're going to go address search, the second option up there at the top on the tab. And then 819 Crossbridge. And you see folks at home at the top. Yeah, we also got that number that you can paste in, and that will be either account or CAD reference search. Thank you for copying that, Carlos. Oh, that's in Harris County, so we can't do that one. Yeah, what's your address here?
Not Adrian Peterson.
Okay, do 30807.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is where our studio is located. If you want to
Just
come
one
beat
mil.
on the door while we're live.
Yeah, there you go.
A milli.
There's three men movers. Okay, so here you're looking at two things, folks. You'll see in the second from the right column, you'll see the inventory, furniture, fixture, and equipment. So that's what's called your business personal property. You'll see the account number over there to the far left. That's hyperlinked. If you'll keep scrolling, Carlos. So if we were to click on one of those, it would show us all of the microphones that we're talking on, the computer screens, the software, everything that's in here. We have to report that, or the business owner does, to Tammy McRae. Tammy McRae puts a tax value or a tax price tag on it, and then you pay taxes on it. That's different from your property tax, which the owners probably, or the renters probably pay. The tenants pay as a pass-through here in the building, but they're not going to be property owners. That's why you see a lot of the business personal property for this address. So this may be a property owner's account. Before we click on any of the hyperlinks, this is just the profile. So you see the account number at the top. Here's some copy-paste information if you're looking to put it in a contract agreement between two people, or even a notice letter. And then we've got hyperlinks over here on the right. Exemption and rate information you can copy into a spreadsheet. You've got current tax statement, which we'll click on here in a second, and that generates a PDF which you can use at closing of a home to see how much is actually due for the current year in taxes. And then we have, if you'll click payment information and receipts, Carlos, this is one of my favorites because you can see who has paid the taxes for the last, go all the way down to the bottom, please, and let's see the last year of reporting. It's 1995, and you can see a receipt, how much was paid, who paid it. And now let's go back to the Tammy McRae profile homepage, and we'll click on current tax bill. And you have to click a couple of times here, but it's nice that you get a certified copy of the tax due on the account. So Carlos, go back to the original screen that you were on for Tammy. And you can see there all the taxes that were paid and exactly what date they were paid on every year.
It's very interesting, is it not?
Yes, it is. Okay, let's skip forward to County Clerk because we're going to want to spend some time there. So guys, MCAD, who owns the property, how much is the taxable value of it? Here's a high-res map of the property. Tammy McRae, Montgomery County TAC, how much are the taxes owed, tax liability, and who's paid for the past couple of decades. Now we're at County Clerk. This is ownership documents.
I got 5 on it. I like his last name, Turnbull. We spent a lot of time on this. You can go to the public records. You can search as a login as a guest right there, that top. As you run through these, this is the grantor grantee index that I was discussing. Oh, wrong one. One above that. Click here to search County Clerk records. So as you're running through, click login as guest.
And folks at home, we'll put links to all of these in the description and in the chat so you can find them. Okay,
so
BW.
At this point, you have the ability to search, you know, is your boyfriend married? This is a good thing to know, right? And it'll show marriage dates and divorce dates. You can also search through here for land and property and other things of that nature. UCC filings, a plat of your subdivision, pretty much anything that has to do with real property or marriage you can find on this website if it occurred in this county or if the land is located in this county.
This is intimidating.
It is, and it's intimidating for attorneys because you can search your heart out and still not find it because you mistyped that person's name and you have to put it last name, comma, first name. So if you click search public records right there at the top, uh-oh, I think we might have clicked the other.
Got him.
Nope, it's the right one. So at this point, you can search by
this simplifies
name
things a
or
lot.
business name. You can search by the assumed name. You can, on the right-hand side, decide what type of documents you're looking for. Maybe you're just trying to find a plat. Maybe you're trying to be a savvy business investor and you're looking for foreclosed properties. Obviously, it's easier to go to the website of the attorneys that foreclose on them on behalf of the taxing authority of that county, but you can find a lot of information on here, including marriages. So, you know, if you think your boyfriend may not be telling you the truth about his relationship status, you might be able to find out right here if you're being catfished, at least as it relates to his status of single or married.
Better hide your status.
Yeah, better hide it. You can't hide it on here, though, so, you know, that's why you have to be in a different county, I guess. So
use a fake name.
Yeah, use a fake name, something along those lines. But a lot of things go on here. We do a lot of real property disputes, boundary disputes, things of this nature. And so if you have like a boundary dispute, let's say you have two neighbors that have a discrepancy by a couple feet on which side of the property line the fence should go. You have to start right here because these records control the legal course of the case.
This is what the government says.
So you file a trespass to tri-title
boundary.
claim. Well, it's a contractual agreement as well, right? Because the deed itself, a general warranty deed, even a quit claim deed or a special warranty deed, each of these types of deeds are a form of a contract. It's a contract for the sale of land. So the grantor is selling to the grantee a plot of land. The land is either going to have a legal description, which is meets and bounds. We don't have to go into that. Or if you're in a subdivision, it'll be platted. And the plat itself will contain the entire legal description and the calls of the land based upon the actual instrumentation used during that time.
Show us.
It would be really, really weird to pull one up at this point with 1 minute left in the show.
Okay,
But
once you
to put it
search,
simply, the plat itself will show every plot of land within your subdivision. So if there's 50 houses in your subdivision, there will be 50 lots listed in this plat, and that plat itself will actually walk you through the legal description and the calls necessary to remap that property based upon the found markers within the property. And so every time we have a real estate dispute and we get a bunch of these that come in, that's where we have to start, and then we have to hire an expert who either surveyed the property previously or can perform a survey on the property, like Mr. Cruz maybe, to walk through and confirm what that legal description tells us. Because at the end of the day, the legal description is just a tool to tell us how to map out the physical boundaries of that property. And then comes the easy part, which is attempting to explain why you're right and the other guy's wrong. And it's a battle of experts, but it's a very complicated system. Very interesting. We've already run out of time. Now, 2 more hot topics just before we go. Let's make it 3. One, excellent question that we'll bring up at the next episode in Hot Topics. Should corporal punishment exist in schools? Yes or no? That's a question you don't
what's
have to
that?
answer
Hidden
yet.
kids? That's easy.
Spanking
No.
children's.
Nished.
Violence
begets violence.
We'll talk later more about it.
Can't do it.
2, Donald Trump's, the raid of Mar-a-Lago, the FBI's choice to go after him, very interesting. Presidential Records Act trumps any statute that they've brought up.
No pun intended.
The pleadings themselves seem to be invalid on their face as it relates to, okay, there's a statute that supersedes your statute, and the president has the right to bring those with him, just like Obama, just like Bush. And then 3rd,
I heard you had some fire verses written in there. I want to hear them.
can you put the picture up of Biden? This is something every American should be thinking really hard about. Imagery is very important in our society, especially in politics. Presidents pay for the
looking
lighting,
lively.
the background, all these things. This is kind of a scary look, and I'll leave it to your judgment, but I don't think this is what we want our children to think of when they think of a president that's leading a united country.
Was this
We
last
have
Halloween?
bright red. This was last night.
Okay.
This
It
was
looks like
last
he's at
night.
a haunted housing.
He gave a speech.
That's weird.
In
I don't
his
want to put
speech
too
was
much stock in
very-
one image, though. There will be another one tomorrow.
Maybe, but this was a pretty big speech. This was a fire up the base and get them out for the vote in 2022 speech, and it was very specific on who he was critiquing. And at the end of the day, the imagery just isn't good. It's
I
just
thought
not a
the
good look.
Republicans had red.
I don't know. That looks like we have red.
Yeah.
This is red.
Yeah, well, maybe
but
he was doing a
it's
shout out to the legal
lighted.
fix.
I hope, but
Maybe we can have him on.
I don't like his red. His red was more of a blood
We
red.
should have had
so-
him on when Bruce was out. Okay, so
Carlos
today we
told me
told you how
time
to
to get
find property ownership, a map of the property, taxable value, tax liability, payment history, deeds, legal descriptions here on the Legal Fix.
How to be an FBI agent from home.
How to use public record access to make your life better here on the Legal Fix. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week on the Legal Fix.
Adios.
J Hall, B Dub, peace.